The weight is a factor. The age, nobody seems to mention, is also a factor. Conor Benn being the younger man at his prime, yeah? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Ben, especially the way he fights like his father, very aggressive, yeah? And listen, if I'm gonna have to, I normally can't say to you, predict what I believe will happen. Christopher Jr. is the bigger man, granted. It depends. It depends. If he's been living the lifestyle, that's also a factor. So it's a 50-50.
Don Charles might try to play it neutral, framing the fight as a 50-50 clash, but it's obvious where his loyalty lies. Beneath the surface, his words are a clear endorsement of Chris Eubank Jr. All the talk about age and weight is just smoke and mirrors, a distraction from the real issue. Eubank is simply operating on another level. Let's be honest, youth doesn't automatically mean superiority, and Charles knows it. He doesn't have to say it outright because his message is crystal clear. Eubank's experience, size, and ring IQ will be the difference when it matters. Charles even takes a subtle jab at Eubank's lifestyle, but that's minor compared to what's coming when the bell rings. Conor Benn's aggression might echo his father's fighting spirit, but Charles isn't buying it. Reckless fire won't beat control and precision. Eubank's poise in the ring will dismantle Benn's wild approach. This isn't a brawl in the streets, it's elite-level boxing, and Eubank is built for it. Since Conor Benn's...
I think since he got caught with performance-enhancing drugs in his system, I think he's a shadow of the fighter. He's lost all his explosiveness, he's lost his power. So I don't think he's going to carry any dangers into that fight, if I'm completely honest.
What have you made of Chris Eubank Jr.'s mind games that he's been playing? He's found a good line that he's worked with, calling him a cheat and saying that he'll respect anyone but a drug cheat. What do you believe these mind games are having an effect on Conor Benn, first of all?
I do, but in a way, you've got to respect it because not many people do come out and say what they're thinking.
Positive test for performance-enhancing drugs, he's looked like a shell of his former self. Troy Williamson doesn't sugarcoat it. Benn's explosiveness is gone, and his power has vanished. What's left is a fighter who no longer commands fear in the ring. The threat he once posed? A memory. And when it comes to psychological warfare, Eubank is playing chess while Benn's stuck on checkers. Williamson gives credit where it's due. Eubank calling Benn a cheat and refusing to respect him is a strategic masterstroke. It's not just trash talk, it's calculated pressure, and it's working. The cracks in Benn's confidence are already showing. Then there's Dave Allen, who doesn't just criticize, he scorches the entire premise of the rematch. To him, this fight isn't...
It's a mismatch on paper, of course it is. It's a fella that won a British title at welterweight, who hasn't boxed for a long time, against a faded world-class middleweight, so I haven't really got any interest, to be honest.
Egg slap not get you excited for it?
Not really, no. I'm not really an excitable guy.
Exciting. It's a mismatch. A past his prime middleweight versus a welterweight with no major credentials. Allen tears into the hype with zero hesitation. In his view, this isn't boxing drama. It's a lopsided affair dressed up as a rivalry. From Charles to Williamson to Allen, the verdict is resounding. Eubank isn't just bigger, he's better. And come fight night, the gap will be undeniable. All eyes will be on Benn, but not in awe, in concern. Because when the dust settles, Eubank will have made his statement loud and clear. This fight is a cash grab dressed up as a mega event, with no real sporting value. Dave Allen sees straight through the glitz and marketing. One fighter's been collecting dust, the other's been humbled time and again. What's worse, the rivalry has lost all meaning. Just two names riding the coattails of their fathers' legacies. The fans are left clinging to nostalgia, hoping for fireworks that simply won't come. The truth?
You know, for all the promotion, for all the nonsense, for all the crap, you've got two fighters here. Might not be for a world title, but if you want to see a scrap, you're going to see one, because these two like to fight. Look at their careers. They are the fighters, they are the brawlers, they love it, and they only know one way. And that's what's going to happen on April 26th. They're going to meet in the ring, in the center of the ring, and they're going to go off. And that's why the casual fans are going to love this fight. Yes, the boxing
There's a glaring quality gap. It's not just disappointing, it's insulting to real boxing fans. To Allen, this isn't a legitimate contest. It's a disgrace. A fight built for quick cash, dragging the sport into the gutter in the process. On the flip side, Ben Shalom paints a far more explosive picture. He's not selling a simple match, he's hyping a war. According to him, this is more than hype or heritage. It's about two men defined by raw aggression and relentless pressure. When they meet on April 26th, there's no room for hesitation. From the opening bell, this won't be a tactical chess match. It'll be an all-out brawl. No feeling-out process, just chaos unleashed. The first clean shot will ignite the kind of energy that makes time stand still. This isn't about scorecards, it's about survival. So, who breaks first? That's the burning.
So, yeah, I think the difficulty for Conor Benn in this fight is the weight and is the size. I think he's a better fighter. And I think at a natural weight class, he's a big favourite in the fight. But coming up 2 weight classes, it makes it a 50-50 fight. And you ain't going to blink in
question. The arena will be electric, the stakes sky high, and when the dust settles, only one man will be left standing. Whether it's spectacle or sham, one thing is guaranteed. This fight won't go quietly. Eddie Hearn isn't pulling any punches. He's sounding the alarm on the dangerous path Conor Benn is walking. In Hearn's eyes, Benn is entering a minefield, and it's not just about skill or strategy, it's about size. Jumping up 2 full weight classes is no small leap. It changes the fight entirely. At his natural weight, Benn could have been the favorite, but now, he's venturing into hostile territory where every second carries danger. The truth is, the physicality, strength, and sheer endurance are stacked against him. One misstep could end the night early. Both fighters pack serious knockout power, making this a high-voltage showdown where
tough man, and Conor Benn is an animal with a hot head. And as soon as that bell goes, you've only got to watch Nigel Benn's fights and Conor Benn's fights in his career so far to realise he's going to set about him from the first bell.
Blinking might mean missing the moment everything changes. The real question, can Benn adjust to the massive size gap and show he belongs among the bigger men? Or will the move expose the limits of his power and durability? It's an all-or-nothing clash, the kind of fight that turns into a classic or a catastrophe. Still, Hearn isn't just highlighting the risks, he's doubling down on Benn's grit. He calls him a force of nature, a relentless beast whose chaos defines his fighting style. From the opening bell, Benn brings the storm. Just like his father before him, there's no time wasted. He charges in with explosive speed and non-stop pressure, transforming the ring into a battlefield. But here's the twist. Will that same firepower be enough against someone naturally bigger and stronger? That early blitz.
My gym the whole time, and I'm also very close with Conor Benn. He's a good pal of mine, so it's very hard for me to sort of sit back and say this or say that. I think they're doing a fantastic job in selling their fight. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. They both obviously have the needle with each other, and they're both going to give it everything. So be prepared for war, and I hope they get out of the ring safe and sound.
Could become a trap if the wrong punch lands first. This fight isn't about dancing or pacing. It's about who can impose their will. Can Benn's ferocity overwhelm his opponent, or will it lead him straight into danger? One thing's for sure. This isn't a bout that's going to the scorecards. Someone's getting stopped. Meanwhile, Tommy Welch finds himself caught in the emotional crossfire. With Conor Benn training in his gym and a strong personal bond between them, Welch has a front-row seat to the intensity. But his connection to both fighters puts him in a tough spot, torn between loyalty and neutrality. Despite his internal conflict, Welch praises the energy surrounding the bout. He's seen firsthand how committed Benn is and knows both men are carrying genuine animosity into the ring. They've both got real...
White not having the antics of Chris Eubank Jr. the other day when he had that egg moment and he slapped it right into Conor Benn's face. I'm nothing wookish about me, I can assure you. When I let rip, you'll know all about it. But I do feel It's maybe what the sport doesn't need, and yet many people are saying, no, it's great. It's great. You watch it. Everybody wants to go to that.
Needle, Welch admits. They're going to give it everything. For Welch, the hope is simple, that both fighters make it out safe and sound after what's guaranteed to be a war. Because when Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn finally collide, it won't just be another fight. It'll be a battle fueled by legacy, pride, and personal fire. The table is set, and the hype is building for what promises to be a fiery clash like no other. In Tommy Welch's eyes, this isn't just another bout, it's a war. Fueled by deep personal animosity, both Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn are stepping into the ring with everything to prove. It's about pride, legacy, and finding out who the better man truly is. Welch, who's close to both fighters, can only hope they leave the ring unscathed. But make no mistake, he knows they'll give it everything.
Eubank will do it. I think this will be a good fight as long as the last, but I think Eubank will do it.
Is that because of the size and all the attributes Amir Khan mentioned?
I think with the experience and everything in it, to be honest, I think he's got the more experience as being professional, and since he's moved trainer, he seems to be a different fighter again.
In one of the most brutal and anticipated matchups in recent memory. Jim White, however, isn't buying into all the theatrics, especially not Eubank's infamous egg-smashing stunt. Slapping an egg into Benn's face may have made headlines, but White questioned whether it's what the sport truly needs. "I'm nothing wishy-washy," he said. "When I let rip, you'll know." Still, even he admits the public is hooked. Love it or hate it, chaos sells. And that egg? It might have been the spark that turned this fight into a must-watch event. Sure, some call it childish, but the reality is, boxing feeds on drama. Fans are dialed in, and the spectacle has added a whole new layer of intensity. Benn, humiliated, but more motivated than ever, now seeks revenge. This won't just be a test of skill, it's a fight driven by pride, emotion, and old grudges.
I think Chris is leaps and bounds ahead of Conor. His experience, the guys he's been in with, take away the weight, because, Chris is obviously going to be disadvantaged in there with the weight as well. But just ability, boxing skill set is on a completely different level.
There's Hughie Fury, who isn't mincing words. He's throwing his full support behind Eubank Jr. and tearing down Benn's chances. To Fury, this isn't a fair matchup. It's a disaster in the making. Benn, he says, is stepping into deep waters with a fighter who survived real wars, while his own record is padded and untested. More importantly, Fury believes Eubank has transformed. Since switching trainers, he's evolved, sharper, more focused, and more dangerous than ever. Fury doesn't just doubt Benn's chances. He sees him as completely outclassed. As the hype reaches a fever pitch, one thing is clear. This fight is personal, it's explosive, and it's impossible to ignore. Whether it's genuine bad blood or manufactured mayhem, the build-up has the...
Surprised? Not really. I mean, I didn't know he was going to pull an egg out of his pocket and slap it round his head, but, it was always going to be some form of drama. And, yeah, it was always going to happen. It spiced it up. Like I say, I wasn't really surprised by it. Maybe a little bit stupid, maybe not a little bit stupid. Maybe there was going to be something that's going to happen. Was it going to be Conor Benn? Was it going to be Chris Eubank Jr.? But I think that shows you the rivalry between these two and the feuds between these two.
Boxing world holding its breath. When these two finally collide, all the talking, stunts, and opinions will fade, and only the truth will remain inside the ring. Conor Benn is heading into dangerous territory, and the signs are all there. He's never been in deep waters, never shared the ring with the sport's elite, and now he's about to be systematically picked apart by someone who has. Chris Eubank Jr. has gone toe-to-toe with top-tier talent, proving time and again that he belongs on the biggest stages. In contrast, Benn is stepping up in weight and class, two massive obstacles that make this an uphill battle from the very start. As the moment of truth approaches, the question looms. Can Ben survive, or will Eubank crush him under pressure and derail the hype train for good? Harlem Eubank isn't mincing words. He's convinced his cousin Chris is on another level. And while the spotlight has been fixed on the weight difference, Harlem insists the true gap lies in skill, experience, and ring intelligence. Chris has been tested against the best, sharpening his craft through wars in the ring. Ben, though powerful and aggressive, hasn't faced anyone of that caliber. Harlem concedes Chris will lose some size cutting down for the fight, but believes his